Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King 3, and today I'm going to be giving you part 3 of what if Naruto was half Archangel and became the God of Gods. Remember to get this one to 100 likes as usual, share this to all of your friends in your social media platform, and also guys, don't forget to go ahead and check out the other channels. Yes, I indeed have 4 channels which I post what if on every single day for you guys to enjoy. So go ahead and smash that red subscribe button and become a part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and your support. Remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new. I'll be replying talking back to all of you. And don't forget to turn on the bell notification to see exactly when I post, because I do post a hell of a lot. So without further ado or wasting no more time, what do you say we jump right into this? Begin now guys. So the last part we left off, Sasuke was wondering whether or not should he eat breakfast. As you remember what Sakura had said, given the fact that she was one of the few in the class that did not fan over him like the other girls, he believed that she might know what she was thinking. Therefore, he wondered if he should go ahead with what she said. That is when there was a knock at his door. He was rather surprised. It was Naruto right in his face. The blonde looked rather sleepy, as Sasuke was not able to say anything before Naruto pushed him aside and entered into his house. He saw Sakura behind him with an apologetic look on her face. Naruto went straight for Sasuke's bedroom despite this being the first time he was here, as he plopped down on the Uchiha's bed, ignoring anything else as he fell asleep. Sasuke was taken aback by this, not expecting this in the slightest. As Sakura apologized for Naruto, she said that it was her fault for waking him up this early. However, she believed she understood what Kakashi was trying to do. Since the moment he met them, Kakashi has been showing disregard for the rules, coming up late. So why should they believe what he say, especially in terms of eating breakfast? She had skimmed through several things. Konoha was always about teamwork. Even Sasuke remembered that in the academy. That was one of the things Iruka tried to drill into their skull. Therefore, she believed that this was a test. Kakashi was going to pit them against each other to see if they would fight against each other or unite to make an official team. Sasuke now realizing her idea was making sense. He decided to eat. After that, they woke Naruto while she went to wake him, and they headed out. It did not take them too long. As they were there, they had to wait for another 2 hours, further cementing Sakura's theories. Kakashi finally arrived, as he was surprised that none of them seemed to be angry at him. In fact, they seemed well rested and well fed, as he watched them with a keen eye. As he walked over and waked Naruto up, who got up, he told him about the bell test and none of them protested. Once again, he was surprised by that. He gave them the go-ahead as Naruto was the last one to move. Arriving, Sakura told him to go all out on Kakashi. He was the distraction that they needed. That is when Sasuke was able to see what Naruto was truly capable of. Having been well rested, Naruto was actually able to fight. As he fought the copy ninja, Kakashi was taken aback, and then he realized something. The movements that Naruto was using, he fought this before. As Naruto told him that he saw a guy in a green spandex suit doing this while he was sleeping, his shouts wake him up. From then he started to mimic the fighting style. Kakashi was taken aback by that. Also, Naruto's strength and speed. Remembering what the Hokage said, he realized there was more to Naruto than any of them thought. That is when a fireball was hurled towards him. As Sakura launched several kunes from him from her spots, he reappeared behind the girl though as he placed her under a genjutsu, but she broke out of it. That is when Naruto attacked him as he swapped with Sakura. At that moment, Naruto remembered as he pulled out the blade and brought it down. Kakashi only had a second to substitute, but he still got hit. A violent eruption came from that blade, destroying the entire place. Sakura and Sasuke's eyes went wide as it was coming towards them. Sasuke was a bit behind Sakura as he closed his eyes. Later than Sakura, there was he saw a bright blue light. To his surprise, they were safe. The area around them was destroyed, but they were not touched. He was confused. Sakura did not seem to understand what just happened either. She was confused as well. Shaking their heads, they rushed towards a gigantic crater. Anvus arrived, then the Hokage a moment later. They tried to touch the blade, but one of them was zapped away, as Naruto picked it up though, and it was fine. They brought him towards the interrogation room. Not that they were holding anything much against him, but just to make sure he was away from any sights that would cause danger. Ibiki told Hokage that the seals had been reinforced. Given that Sakura was one of the closest Naruto Hiruzen brought her, she had brought it up in the first place, knowing that Naruto would not lie. Because he did not lie at all. Naruto explained to them that he could see ghosts, or what he thought was ghosts, and a ghost gave him that weapon, as he promised that it would not happen again. He did not know how, but he could understand the blade. It did not speak English words, but he could resonate with it. Some time later, Kakashi woke up in the hospital, as Naruto was there. Naruto told him that he should fake his injuries, so they would have months off, so they won't have to be a team, until a few months later. But Kakashi told him that he could not do that. Naruto ended up walking through the window, as Kakashi was surprised when he saw Naruto walking up the building. Some time later, they were now officially Team 7 as Naruto had been mad at Kakashi for not going through with his plan. He was not really taking a part in the missions, especially capturing Tora, because he was sleeping. When they finally arrived there though, Sakura was happy to see that damn cat get squeezed by the daimyo's wife. After all, the cat did try to scrape her up badly. They finally got a real mission after Sasuke protested. So with that, they headed towards Land of Wave to protect Tazuna, the bridge builder. It was not too long before the demon brothers attacked. They shredded Kakashi. They went after Naruto next, seeing that he was the closest. However, Naruto grabbed the chain. Sakura threw a kunai to hit the demon brother so he would not stab Naruto. But because of Naruto pulling on the chain, the kunai went through into his skull, killing him instantly. Sakura was taken aback, not expecting this in the slightest. She wanted to wound him, but she healed him as she saw the light leave his eyes. Kakashi appeared and knocked out the other demon brother. This was the first time she had killed someone, so she was shaken up. As Naruto went over there as she hugged him, holding on to him as she cried. She knew that this was part of being a kunoichi, but she just never saw the light leave someone's eyes like that before. As Naruto held on to her, he got mad at Tazuna when he found out that he knew about this, and that Kakashi had to stop him though, as he saw Naruto reaching for the blade that was on his waist. Sakura was the one that convinced him to go, as she just could not leave those people there to suffer. She understood why the man lied, even though it was a terrible thing to do. She understood, and she wanted to help. Sasuke was all too willing to go, as he wanted to see what he can do in terms of fighting. He can finally test himself outside of the village. Once they made their way off after agreeing to go, the shadowy figure appeared, the face clouded. The dead demon brother arrived, his soul to be exact, as he was taken by her. It seemed to be a woman, as her voice spoke. She was focusing on Naruto. So yeah guys, basically as we left off, you guys can switch across and play check for yourself. So what is to begin this? No guys. The group was making their way towards Land of Wave. They had just gotten off the boat. Is this place always so misty? Sakura asks. Yes, Tazuna spoke up. Especially this time of the day. I can barely see, said Sakura, as she tried to see through the mist. There was a lot of it. She turned towards Naruto. Do you see anything ahead? She asks. No, the place is clear, he said. Kakashi raised the eyebrow to her, asked him that. If she could not, how could Naruto see further than her? Yet, he just said no, there was nothing ahead. Kakashi could see, as his eyes were much more advanced than theirs. not counting the Sharingan. He's been in eras like this before, especially in the war. One had to heighten their senses and focus, otherwise they would be doomed. But Kakashi had a strange feeling, like something was off as he walked through the mist. Sasuke glanced around until he heard something. As all of them turned their attention towards the bush, Tazuna paused in his step. "It's just a stupid rabbit," said Naruto. The rabbit jumped out a moment later, with white fur. Kakashi instantly knowing that something was wrong. He would ask Naruto how did he know that it was a rabbit. However, "Get down!" Urgency in his voice, he tackled Tazuna down to the ground. Sakura pulling down Naruto, and Sasuke seeing that she was in the middle of the both of them as she fell down to the ground as well. A sword whipping over their head and slamming into the tree. A man appeared on the handle a moment later. Kakashi glanced up. Surprise written all over his face. All of that expression showed in that one eye. "Now I see why the demon brothers did not return. I would expect no less from Sharingan no Kakashi," said the man on the blade. "Sharingan?" Sasuke said, looking towards his sensei. "Zabuza Mamakai, otherwise known as the Demon of the Mist. I would say I'm surprised, but given this line of work, I'm not all too surprised," Kakashi said. "Amusing," said Zabuza with a smirk under his bandage, as his face was covered in it, well, the lower half of his face. "Tell you what, hand over the old man, and I'll let you and your kiddies there live. After all, they seem like a bunch of wet behind the ears brats. Wouldn't want to end their career so quickly." "I'm afraid I can't do that," said Kakashi. "All of you, Formation C around Tazuna. This is not something that you're ready for." Kakashi raised his headband. Sasuke blinked in shock. "The Sharingan," he said. His mind was going through several scenarios as he looked towards the eye. I'm honored. Giving it to me right off the bat. Well, I have wanted to test myself against you since the war. You were listed as a high-value target. So, let's see how you add up in these days," said Zabuza as he jumped away, leaping into the mist. The three Genins gathered around Tazuna, who was shaking in fright. This guy was a real deal, because their sensei was about to fight now. This was no joke. Hidden mist jutsu. The mist started to get thicker and thicker and thicker. "I wonder, which one should I go after first?" Naruto heard the man starting to list out the body organs. As Naruto was confused what was going on, why was he just talking about the human organs? He glanced towards Sakura as he saw her shaking. He looked towards Sasuke, who seemed terrified as well. Naruto wasn't quite sure what was going on, or why they were shaking, because he did not feel anything at all. That is when he saw Sasuke bringing his kunai up towards his own throat. Naruto wondered if he's gone mad. "Sasuke." Kakashi's voice knocked him out of his self-induced fear coma. "It's alright. I won't let anything happen to any of you." Kakashi's chakra fighting against the killer intent that was affecting them, as Sakura took a deep breath as well. Naruto was not affected by it though. Zabuza, from where he was, noticed that. However, it was not important. "Well then, Kakashi, let's see you save them now." Zabuza was right in the center of the group. He would have moved until Naruto blade ripped right through his guts, the golden blade tearing through the man, as Naruto had spun around faster than Zabuza expected. He was surprised before his body burst into water. Kakashi spun as he blocked the massive cleaver that came. He did not have time to react to what Naruto just did as he clashed with Zabuza. Sasuke was surprised as Naruto was able to turn before he could even blink. If he did not save them, would that have been it? Would he have died? Both men tussled as they were entering a shape of water clones, slicing and dispelling until Kakashi was kicked on top of the water. The real Zabuza emerged and placed him inside of a water dome, trapping him inside. Kakashi's eyes went wide with panic. "Run away!" he yelled to them, as Zabuza materialized 3 water clones. The water clones cannot get too far away from the main body. And he cannot move while I'm in here. Leave! Take the client and run! Sasuke was afraid as he looked towards the three menacing water clones moving towards them, all of them holding that giant blade. This guy a moment ago had scared the living crap out of him. But he had to fight. He could not run. An image of Itachi appeared in his mind. Guys, they heard her voice. As Sasuke turned towards her, Naruto was already looking at her. Sakura's hand was shaking barely, but she got it under control. We can't run. Kakashi heard it as he screamed at them to get out of here. You told us this after we officially became a team, Sensei. Those that leave their comrades behind are even worse than trash. We won't leave you, she said. Her words encouraging Sasuke as his eyes snapped into focus, facing down the three water clones coming towards him. One of them laughed, amusing, wet behind the ears brat believing that they can stand up to the likes of me. It seems that Konoha has gotten weak and cocky over the years, believing that these pathetic kids can do anything. Well, you've sealed your fate. I'll cut each and every one of you down. Sakura gripped her kunai tightly. Like hell you will, she said. Little Miss Pinky believing that she has a say in what's gonna happen. Well then, I'll kill you all right here. The three clones rushed forward as Sakura whispered something to the both of them. Now, she said. Sasuke blurred through hand sign before he inhale and then exhale, releasing a giant fireball towards the three of them. They quickly separated. One went to the left, one went to the right, the other one leap up in the sky. The moment he was mid-air though, kunais pierced right into him that Sakura had thrown. As she predicted one of their movement to be up, his body dispelled into water. The one that went to the right, his chest was impaled as Naruto had thrown his blade forward. The one that went to the left though was still alive as it was coming around, trying to get behind them until it heard something. As Sakura looked towards him, boom, she said. The explosive tag that she had thrown, exploding, blowing him away as he dispelled into water. Now, she yelled as Naruto burst out of the foliage before he bent his knees and leaped forward, jumping towards real Zabuza. Stupid move, brat, said Zabuza as he brought his arm forward and swung down. His sword tear right through Naruto until Naruto's body burst into water, shocking everyone there. However, that was not the main action though. As Naruto's body dispersed into water, a giant Fuma Shuriken was right behind him. Zabuza was able to destroy the first one, but the second one in the shadow poof, revealing Naruto as Naruto stepped right into Zabuza's face with incredible force, blasting the demon away. Naruto then pulled out the golden blade as he brought it down and tapped it on the water. The moment he did so, it released a violent force. Zabuza's eyes went wide in shock, not expecting this in the slightest as the entire surface of the water exploded outwards. The demon was thrown violently as he slammed into a tree hard, before slamming into another one as his back break through the first one. However, that was not enough to take him out, but it did not matter, as Naruto landed on top of the water, standing on top of it. Excellent work, you guys, said Kakashi. There was nothing but pride in his tone. Yes, his student proved him wrong. They show great teamwork, and they successfully got Zabuza to free him, and now a look in Kakashi's eyes showed that he was done messing around. Zabuza was screwed. As the demon got back up, Kakashi sprinted forward at immense speed to end this once and for all. As he went on to clash with him, Naruto returned back to the group. Sasuke was taken aback by something though. How were you standing on the water, he asked. He saw their enemy and Kakashi doing it, as he was curious because he did not know how to do that. Naruto raised the eyebrow. I'm not sure, he said. Is it like the wall walking? Sakura asked as she looked towards Naruto. Yeah, pretty much. I figured if I could walk on trees, I could probably walk in water as well. I'm betting that this one's gonna be just as difficult, she said. Wait, you can do it too? Sasuke asked, looking towards her. No, just the wall walking. Naruto showed it to me not so long ago. A week ago, to be specific, she said angrily. Why do you sound angry, said Naruto. Because you could have taught it to me a long time ago. You did not ask, said Naruto. How was I supposed to know that you could do that? She asked him. Naruto simply picked his ears as he shrugged his shoulder, making her glare at him. Tazuna, on the other hand, was taken aback. At first he thought that they were just 3 kids that did not know how to do squat. But when they faced Demon Brothers, and now, that excellent teamwork that they just performed to get their sensei free who was dealing with the job, well, it was more than he expected. He was just grateful that they took the mission. Naruto turned as he saw the 2 ninjas throwing jutsus after jutsus. Zabuza did not hold up in the end as he was slammed into a tree. This time he did not get up as Kakashi pinned him to it with kunais. He was about to end his life until Naruto tilted his head. As strange needles could be seen, well, he could see them. They stabbed right into Zabuza's neck and his head fell over. The group was watching from a distance as a person appeared and spoke to Kakashi. They started to make their way over as a person nodded to Kakashi after Kakashi had tested Zabuza's pulse. The person took the body and jumped away. Kakashi raised an eyebrow at that. However, the moment his team arrived, he gave them an eye smile. Sorry guys, he said. Sorry? For what, Sensei? Sakura asked. Before she could ask anything else, Kakashi collapsed face first. He's dead, said Naruto. He's not dead, Naruto, said Sakura. Well, at least I hope not, she said, making her way over. As she tested her sensei's pulse, he's alive. He just seemed to be exhausted. Naruto folded his arms. From that short fight, I must say, I'm disappointed. There must be another reason. He's our Jonin sensei, and one of the best in the village as well. It must have something to do with his Sharingan. After all, the last time I checked, our sensei is not a Uchiha, and only Uchihas can have Sharingan. Right, Sasuke? Sakura asks. Sasuke just grunted in agreement. Alright, Tazuna, can you lead us to your house now? Oh, right, of course. Who made you leader? Said Naruto. Oh, that's right. I am active leader until Sensei is fully recovered. And who said that? Naruto asks. I did. You got a problem with that? She said. And if I do? Naruto asks. Then I'll make you active leader, she said, with a smile on her face. Alright, forget about it, said Naruto, as she chuckled a bit. Time skip. Kakashi opened his one eye. His other one was already closed up. Ah, you're awake. As he looked up to see a dark-haired woman. Where am I? He said. Your group and my father brought you here. How are you feeling? She asks. Well, it will probably be a week before I can gain full control back of my body, he said. She nodded at that. By the way, I am Tsunami, she said. I will go alert the others. As Kakashi pulled himself up in a sitting position. Moments later. So you're awake. The voice of Naruto could be heard as the group finally came in the room. Kakashi looked towards him with an eye smile. I'm glad to see that everyone's okay, he said. Yeah, we're fine, Sensei. And we were wondering, was it the Sharingan that took you out of the fight once it was over? You noticed that, huh? Well, this Sharingan was given to me by a very special friend in the war. But unlike someone like Sasuke, I don't have the body to keep up with it. So it takes a considerable amount of chakra out of me. Then is it really wise to use it in a fight? Sakura asks, considering that you'll be unconscious afterwards. Well, it did help him defeat one of the most dangerous assassins, said Tazuna. I guess you're right there, said Sakura. Tch, that's stupid, said Naruto. Kakashi looked towards him. How so? He asks. What if this Zabuza person had another accomplice with him? They would have attacked, and we would be left alone to fight. That brought something to Kakashi's mind. About that, he said. I don't think that Zabuza is dead. What? Said Tazuna. But I saw you test him. You test his pulse. Did you leave him alive? No. I was tricked into believing that he was dead. Kakashi told them his theory, and why they had to train hard. For when they faced Zabuza again, and this time his accomplice, he was left alone in the room with Naruto as he wanted to talk to him. As Naruto was sitting there, the others were gone. "What is it?" said Naruto. "I saw you made a water clone out there. How did you do that?" "I'm sure that you would have no prior knowledge of a water clone back in the Hidden Leaf. So how did you make one?" "I saw you did it, so I did it," said Naruto. Kakashi raised the eyebrow at that. "What do you mean you saw me did it?" "Before you got cut in half, I saw what you did, so I did the same thing, and it happened." "Wait, are you telling me that you mimicked what I saw, from just one glance, and you were able to do it?" "Yes," said Naruto, wondering why he had to repeat himself. Kakashi looked towards him strangely. "What's wrong?" "You know that is not normal, right? In the sense of learning. I've never seen anyone do something like that without something special like the Sharingan before." "That's what the old man told me as well, but he did not say anything about the Sharingan." "What are you talking about?" "When I learned to walk on walls," said Naruto. Kakashi then started to put it together, as he remembered Naruto using Gai's Taijutsu. He was able to create a water clone. He looked towards Naruto, not saying anything for a few seconds. "It seems there's more to you than meet the eye." "What's that supposed to mean?" said Naruto. "Oh, it's actually a compliment," said Kakashi. "I'm going to start to train you guys very soon, it seems. There's a lot I want to discuss with you." Naruto sighed in annoyance, knowing that more work would have to come his way. More exhausting, annoying things to do. Time skip. "Once again you managed to shock me," said Kakashi as he was walking with two crutches, as Naruto was lying on his back in the pond that they were situated at. "It's hard enough for someone of your age to walk on water, but to expand the necessary chakra amount to lie down on it is just incredible," said Kakashi in complete shock. He knew that Naruto should be having a difficult time, with him being the Kyuubi Jinchuriki, but yet it's almost like he has perfect chakra control, which makes no sense at all. When they got back, he will have to speak to the Hokage about testing Naruto more in depth. He knew that Naruto being lazy had subjugated him to not be seen as a prodigy that he was. As Kakashi watched Naruto drifted off, completely ignoring him, as he was lying on his back, the water current bringing him out, Kakashi sighed to himself. As he glanced back over towards the foliage, Sakura was helping Sasuke in the tree walking exercise. Kakashi was liking what he was seeing. Sasuke was a, arrogant person to an extent, but he saw that Sakura was not like the other girls in the academy, therefore he wasn't above taking advice from her. He liked that the team was bonding together, and Naruto and Sakura seemed to be best friends. They have been for some time now. That is when he noticed that the blonde had been carried away by the water. "Naruto! Naruto!" he cried out. However, Naruto simply let himself be drifted away. Kakashi sighed as he went after him. Don't tell me he fell asleep, Kakashi thought. Time skip. 3 days later. With the help of Kakashi and Sakura, from time to time Sasuke was able to get the technique down within 3 days. Therefore, they had more time. Sakura was halfway done into mastering the water walking. It was a good thing that Naruto taught her this, because her chakra reserves had extended for her to be able to handle more difficult tasks. He was focusing on her doing the water walking and extending her chakra reserves. Something weird had happened though. Something unusual in day 2. Kakashi stood by the riverbank as he looked towards Sakura, who was taking steps. Her legs were shaking, but she was taking steps. She seemed rather exhausted. She panted before she lost control as she fell into the water. "Well, let's call it a day," said Kakashi. However, he overestimates the amount of strength that she had left in her body. "Sakura? Sakura," he said. As she was not coming back up, Kakashi was about to dive into the water until a bright blue light went off. He was stunned for a moment there until her head exploded out of the water as she gasped. She looked towards Kakashi. I guess I'm too tired to continue, Sensei, she said. Kakashi looked at her strangely. What's wrong, Sensei? Sakura asked. Nothing, he said. Swim back to shore. And she did. She seemed to... Kakashi was confused. For a moment there he thought that she was drowning. Sakura, did you see that light? She looked towards him. What light? She asked. Since that day, Kakashi was confused. What was that light? And why did it seem that she had no memories of almost drowning? He was sure that something went wrong in that moment, and yet she came back up like nothing had just happened. Like she had just fell into the water. He didn't know if he was just overthinking this, but she was a student that he had to make sure that everything was alright. At the moment, Naruto was sleeping outside, as he was under a gigantic tree. Tsuname's son, Inari, he believed its name was, said that Gato was going to kill them all. Sakura was able to talk to the boy, but Naruto got rather annoyed. He was just so loud. And he figured that he would sleep outside. A bed was comfy and all, but outside, in the fresh air, it was always nice, as he could feel his eyelids closing up to rest. That is when his eyes opened back. But slowly though, as he noticed a shadowy figure was watching from a distance away. That one ghost who just seemed to constantly harass him. Well, not harass physically, but watch him every minute. Naruto pretended like he did not notice before he rolled over, using all of his might. He was unaware that he destroyed the ground as he leaped at blinding speeds. Speeds that he shouldn't even reach at this level, but he was moving at such speeds. Naruto slammed right into the figure, and his hands actually slammed right into it. Naruto was surprised at that. Yes, his hands slammed into the ghost, knocked it off the branch as they crashed down into the ground. He could swear that he was holding on to something as Naruto slammed both items down to reveal that it was two arms. That is when the black smoke started to slowly vanish, revealing a woman. Naruto was surprised by that. He was sitting right on her stomach. She was taller than him. Her eyes were green like Sakura's. Her skin seemed to be a bit pale. There was no lipstick that she had on. She was wearing a dark dress, as Naruto could not see her feet because it seems like she had none. It was almost like she was gliding, as he could not see an end at her feet, just the dark dress and nothing beneath it. Most people would have been freaking out by this, but Naruto felt calm. What are you? He said, as she looked at him. Naruto could not decipher the look that she gave him. It was weird. It's too soon, she said to him. Not yet. Her hand faded right through his hand. It was almost like she was intangible at that moment, as she reached up and tapped him on the forehead. Naruto's entire body was lifted off her. Naruto was shocked as he was floating in mid-air. What did you do to me? He said. The next moment, he dropped right on his butt. Ow. As he looked around, she was nowhere to be seen. What the hell? Naruto said, confused, as he got back to his feet. Well, no point of worrying about that. She was gone right now. So he simply returned back to where he was and lie down, confused by that whole interaction. A far distance away. Damn it, said woman said to herself. I almost got caught. How stupid could I have been to almost get caught? What if somehow he found out about this? I would surely be erased. Damn it, she said to herself, at being so sloppy at almost being caught. However, she never expected him to move that fast. It seems his power was leaking out, but he was still heavily suppressed. But this was good, that it was leaking out in this quantity. After all, if all of it were to be released at once, the entire world, no, the entire universe, would be in trouble, she thought to herself. Her body burst away into black smoke as she vanished, leaving this plane of existence. going somewhere else. Time skip. Unknown area. The woman in black rematerialized as she arrived towards an unknown space. Wherever it was dark and damp. She slowly made her way towards a section of this area. As quickly as possible, she knocked before a voice spoke up. Enter. She then proceeded to enter the room. She had been summoned. What did you do? There was a woman sitting down in a chair, brushing her hair. Her long, red hair. The dark-haired woman did not answer, only for the woman tone to remain the same as she asked. But this time she used her name. Tessa, the red-haired woman said. What did you do? The woman now known as Tessa lowered her head. He caught me. What? The woman said as she stopped brushing her hair. How did you get caught? I underestimated him. What your husband did. The seals that were placed on him. They're releasing more of his power than I thought. He's faster than I thought. He's stronger than I thought. The woman frowned. The red-haired one. So, they're releasing more power. Then that means it will only be a matter of time before they know of his existence. What are we gonna do? The woman known as Tessa asked. I wanted to wait until he was 18 years old. At that age, the seals would have naturally faded over time, and he would have access to his power, but he's stronger than expected. Stronger than any of us expected. The woman said, as she did not sound pleased. But isn't this a good thing, she asked. No, you fool, she said, looking towards Tessa as she finally turned. As Tessa was met with blue eyes. He might be strong, but he doesn't have any control. I wanted to wait until his power had fully circulated with him, for him to understand. But he's stronger than any of us could have expected. But I knew that this was a certainty, given who his father is. But this means that the moment they feel his power, they will come after him, and they will try to take him. But that is something I cannot allow to happen. Who knows what they will do with him? After the last war, their numbers are not as strong as it once was. They will try to use him. And with his power, they will become unstoppable. As Tessa nodded to that, she finally spoke up, calling the woman's name. So what should we do, Lady Kushina, she asked. The woman that finally got to her feet, revealing none other than Kushina Uzumaki, that was said to be dead some time ago, aka Naruto's mother, who was here, wherever this place was, looked towards Tessa. Trying to push him to awaken his power is not an option. He might end up destroying everything, including himself, if he tried too hard. With the amount of power that he has inside of him, it's been locked away, growing over time, but it is so strong that it's been leaking out. His strength has been growing exponentially. I have no idea how far he has reached already, but there is no doubt that he will surpass his father very soon. Tessa looked like she was at awe. I can only imagine, she said, the amount of power that he will wield. Once he gains perfect control, they won't be able to harm him. Yes, said Kushina with a smile. And my baby boy will be alright. However, our presence could be a trigger that sets him off. Him knowing more about this world will gain him a better understanding, and his power will end up gushing out. And we can't have that, said Tessa. Of course not, said Kushina. If too much is released at once, it will eradicate everything. And that is something that I will not allow to happen. I am still linked to him. I can feel it. That is why I knew that something happened. The moment he saw you, I can feel the strain that pushed against his seal all over his body. The more understanding he gets, the more his power wants to be set free. Power like that cannot be contained forever. I was told by his father that when he reached 18, the seal will dematerialize over time and his body would absorb his power fully. But it seems that he's 10 times stronger than his father ever believed. For now, all we can do is watch. And when the moment presents itself, I will have to intervene, said Kushina. She smiled as she'll be able to get to see her son right in front of her. How is he using the blade? From what I've seen, he's using it to channel his power well. But he thinks that the blade is a special item. He's unaware that he's releasing that power. However, over time he's growing and getting greater control in using the blade. It is able to channel his power just as you said. Good, said Kushina, as she smiled at that. Time skip. Naruto just met a guy. At first he thought that it was a girl, given the appearance, but it was a guy. However, it felt like he had met this person before. But he had no recollection of meeting this person already, so he did not know why he had met this person before. A feeling of deja vu. Well, that was weird, he thought to himself, as he headed back to the house. Time skip. Naruto had stayed up last night, listening to Kakashi and their theories on how they were going to face off against Zabuza and his accomplice once they finally arrive. Given the state that Zabuza was placed in, it should take him around a week or so. So they had to be prepared. However, Zabuza was already back on his feet, and he was ready to throw down. But Kakashi did not believe that it would be this day so early. Therefore, because of Naruto being up late that night, he slept well into the morning. Kakashi told him to let him stay behind. After all, they needed someone to guard the house here in case Gato decided to do anything funny and send some of his goons here to kidnap the family. At the moment, Naruto was sleeping as he was awoken to a scream. Looking down, Naruto saw Inari. As Naruto looked through his window to see the boy, he was charging towards two goons. Tsunami screamed from the stop, but she was knocked in the back of the neck as she fell unconscious. The goon with the blade waved it as he was about to chop Inari in half. Only 2 feet to come down on his shoulder. A snapping sound could be heard as Naruto broke his knees, his body falling like a pancake as Naruto had stomped on his shoulder from mid-air, jumping and landing on his shoulder with incredible force. The other guy, seeing his partner down, whipped out his blade as he drove it towards Naruto's head. Naruto whipped out his blade as they made contact. The other guy's blade shattered on contact. Being too weak to even keep up, he was shocked by that. He tried to punch Naruto, who diverted to the side and grabbed his right leg before yanking him. He lost his balance as his head slammed hard on the pavement. Naruto was not done as he spun him around before throwing him. His head slammed right into the house, knocking him out cold. Inari was astonished by that. As Naruto looked over towards him, he walked over towards his mother and picked her up. As he walked inside, Inari followed behind him. He brought her towards the bedroom and placed her down. "She's gonna be fine," said Naruto, as he walked over and pat Inari on the head. "So don't cry, okay? Crying is really annoying. And besides, you did a good thing, standing up for your mother even though that was very dangerous." Inari looked up at him with shining eyes filled with tears, but he was happy. "Alright, I'm off. Seems like something is going on. I'm gonna go and kick this Gato's ass, if he does show up." "Really?" said Inari. Yeah, said Naruto as he waved goodbye, making his way off towards the bridge, leaving Inari there, as an idea came to the young boy's mind. A way to help. Time skip. On the bridge, a loud explosion could be heard, followed by Sasuke blazing out a fireball out of his mouth, as the Hunter Ninja was forced to leap from his mirror. The Hunter Ninja had no choice but to flip away. How this happened, you might ask. Sasuke was trapped inside the ice mirror as Kakashi was facing off against Zabuza. Sasuke's predicament led him to awaken the Sharingan, as he was stuck inside, unable to keep up. However, Sakura was not just here to bodyguard. She was glad that she had bought those row of explosives. As she tied them on several kunais, she could see Sasuke inside. The mirrors were not that close, so she threw them on top. A violent explosion followed, forcing the Hunter Nin to leap from the mirror that he was about to jump into. As Sasuke fired a fireball right at him, mid-air, unable to go to the other broken mirror, he was forced to move and got his arm burnt. He dropped on the ground and flipped away as he landed. With him outside, Sasuke rushed forward as he threw several kunais and shurikens. The Hunter Nin deflected all of them though, with a long senbon. Sasuke kept up the throwing though, forcing the Hunter Nin to leap up to the sky. One of his arm was currently not doing so well. However, Sasuke saw Sakura behind him, who gave him a look. He understand. The moment the Hunter Nin leaped to the heavens, Sakura threw the remaining kunais that she had. The sizzling sound could be heard. The Hunter Nin was surprised by that. Having no time to do anything, it went off, breaking his mask. Their teamwork, it went through flawlessly. The Hunter Nin collapsed down on the ground as Sasuke slowly walked towards him, believing that it was over. That is when Sakura noticed the Hunter Nin finger twitch. Sasuke did not see. "Sasuke, watch out!" In a quick movement, the ninja was back on his feet as he jabbed Sasuke 3 times in the guts, before 2 in the upper shoulder and 1 right in the chest. Sasuke's whole body seemed to freeze up as he collapsed on his knees. Sakura's eyes went wide as she pulled out 2 kunais. The Hunter Nin rushed in right towards her to kill the bridge builder and get this whole thing over with. 3 senbons were thrown towards her at an insane speed. Sakura blocked the first 2, but the second one stabbed in her arm. Shocked by the speed of them, she felt her arm spaz up a bit. It could not move. The both of them engaged as Sakura ducked before stepping back, telling Tazuna to move away. As they clashed, Sakura tried to keep up, but the Hunter Nin was fast, incredibly so. However, as Sakura was fighting, she could see a sort of pattern, her eyes strangely analyzing something that she's never seen before. She would have been surprised or confused by this, but now was not the time. The Hunter Nin was shocked. How was this girl keeping up? His speed should be far above hers, but she seemed to be getting faster as they fought. This was the first time that Sakura has fought an enemy like this, and she was surprised herself that she was keeping up. However, the Hunter Nin was able to step in her guard and deliver a strike to her other arm. Sakura's arm dropped to her side as he hit right in the pressure point. He then assaulted her several hits, knocking her back. Sakura fell down to one knee. However, she refused to give up as she looked up. "I won't let you kill him." She got up and swung her arm despite it not being fully under her control. The Hunter Nin stepped to the side and pushed her away before he stomped his foot on the ground as ice particles formed. Sakura ended up moving too fast as she slipped on the ice. The Hunter Nin used it to try and block her. However, she slipped, and not having control over her arms, she could not hold on. The ninja eyes went wide. He didn't want to kill her, just subdue. His job was not to kill any of them. He didn't want to. All he wanted to do was quickly get rid of the bridge builder so they could stop this. He rushed forward as he tried to save her, showing that he was not really a bad person. However, Sakura had fell off her arms, unable to move because of the paralyzing jab and the needle as well. The remorse in the boy's eyes, showing that he was not a heartless monster like most would think. That is when Haku saw the blonde-haired boy that he met dive into the water at blinding speeds. Naruto had arrived to see Sakura falling off the bridge, caring about nothing else but the bridge builder. Naruto had threw himself into the water as he did not even glance towards Tazuna. As Naruto dropped into the water going down, he saw her body. Her back was turned to him. She was sinking as Naruto was going in until a bright blue light illuminated from where she was. It seemed to be generating from her front, as he could not see it, where it was coming from exactly. Sakura's arms then start to move, as her whole body seemed to get rigid, her arms snapping back into place, the movements of it being completely restored. As Sakura turned, Naruto was not sure what happened the moment the bright light touched him. He could not see her anymore. His eyes turned golden, switching from blue to gold. The next thing that Naruto noticed, he was back on the bridge. As he was holding Sakura in his arms, she was drenched, so was he. Sakura coughed as she opened her green eyes looking towards him. "Naruto, you saved me," she said, a smile on her face. Naruto was not sure what just happened. Confused himself, the hunter named who had saw the scene, while of them bursting out of the water together, was surprised. However, he saw his opening as he pulled out two senbons in his one hand and rushed forward. Naruto saw him rushing towards Tazuna. Now that Sakura was fine, Naruto realized what he intended to do. "No!" he yelled out as he held out his hand, his eyes flickering to gold. The hunter nin could not move. A golden glow was resonating from Naruto's hand. It surrounded the hunter nin's body and stopped him. He grit his teeth as he tried to move. However, Naruto yanked. Having no idea what was going on, the hunter nin was thrown and slammed into the support beam, head first. He collapsed on the ground as he was out cold. Naruto was still holding Sakura with his other arm. As he looked at his hand confused, his eyes returning back to normal. Walking over to the ninja, Naruto was surprised. "Haku," he said. As the boy slowly started to open his eyes, it seems like he wasn't that completely knocked out after all. "Naruto," he said. "I'm sorry. It was you?" Naruto remembered meeting him in the forest. He was the guy that he thought was a girl. Hearing the sounds of lightning, Haku got back up. "I can't allow you to kill him," said Naruto. "I know, but my life is necessary somewhere else." Haku proceeded to create a mirror and vanish. As Naruto snapped his head towards Kakashi, where he was to be exact. "Wait!" he yelled out. But Haku was already gone. Sakura had passed out. "Damn it," said Naruto. Without even weaving a hand sign, a water clone came into existence. One to his left and one to his right. The one to his right picked up Sasuke as he gave the other one, Haku. Naruto then rushed forward, only to see blood all over the bridge. Kakashi's hand had torn right through Haku's chest, killing him. Zabuza had used that moment to try and cut right through Haku. However, the dogs bit right into the man, stopping him. And another thing as well. Well. What do we have here? Kakashi separated as Haku dropped dead. Zabuza stepping away. The dogs poofing away. Alone in movement. Naruto arriving there, he was silent as he looked at the body of Haku. Now it made sense. Haku had asked him if he had a precious person in his life. Sakura was the first one to come to his mind. Haku said that he had a precious person as well. It was Zabuza. Even though Zabuza seemed like a monster to them, who wanted to cause harm, he was everything to Haku. Naruto was not touched easily by things, but he could see now that the boy gave everything. He expected Zabuza to mourn his death, to actually feel something, but Zabuza wanted to cut right through his corpse. How could someone do something like that? Naruto felt angry, unusually angry, and he did not get angry. He's never truly gotten angry before. In his entire life, the only time he had felt anger was when Tazuna had tricked them and he was worried about Sakura's safety. But other than that, he's never truly felt such anger. That is when he saw Gato walking over towards the corpse and kicking it. Through his deep thoughts, Naruto had ignored all of what was going on. Gato complaining about not having to be the one to kill Haku because Haku had broke his arm when they had had a meetup with him and Zabuza. Naruto snapped his gaze towards Zabuza. "Aren't you gonna do something?" he asks. "Shut up, brat. You don't understand anything." "I don't understand anything?" Naruto clenched his fists. You dare stand there and say something like that? I did not know him very well. I just met him once, but I could see it in his eyes. The person that he called the most precious person, the person that he lived and died for, was you. I have no idea what the hell he saw in you. However, you dare to say that as you stand here and watch that short midget over there kick his corpse. And you say I don't understand anything. Are you even a man? He fought for you. He died for you. And you say I don't understand anything? And you stand here allowing this to happen? Hey, who are you calling a midget? Shut the hell up, said Naruto, as he turned his wrath upon Gato. I'll deal with you later, said Naruto. The sheer magnitude of his words made the bridge tremble. As Kakashi noticed that, as Naruto's eyes were switching between gold and blue. So he was not mistaken, Naruto's eyes did turn gold. How can you dishonor someone that fights and died for you? Someone that dared to call you his precious person. And you say, I don't understand anything. You're the one who don't understand anything because he's dead. He's not gonna come back. He's dead and gone. At least treat him better in death than you did in life. You cold, heartless monster, said Naruto, as he clenched his fist in rage, having no idea how this got him so worked up as he pulled out his blade. Now, for you, he said, as he turned his wrath upon Gato, who stepped back, seeing that look in this boy's eyes. You know, kid, your words cut deeper than any sword. Naruto turned his gaze as he saw Zabuza was crying as he bit the wrappings around his mouth and tore it off, turning his wrath upon Gato. Hey kid, lend me a kunai, would you? Naruto looked down toward his blade in his hand. Here, use this, but I want it back, as he tossed it. Zabuza looked at the strange blade before he reached out and bit the handle. The moment he did that, he felt a surge of energy. His eyes turned gold. He rocketed off at blinding speed. Stop him! Stop him! Said Gato as he ran away into the crowd. Any that got close were torn apart, but not just torn. There was a force that came out of the blade each time he swung. It ripped, it tear, killing all the mercenaries. 3, 4, 5. That was the numbers that one swing caused. There was an extension that came from the blade that was unable to be seen by the naked eye, as countless bodies were dropping after another. Finally, he reached the main man. Gato tried to beg for his life, but Zabuza drove the blade right through his chest before he tore, bursting right through his face. The short midget fell backwards as he fell off the bridge. Zabuza's back was impaled as he had got stabbed multiple times. However, he was standing tall, walking tall, as he seemed completely unfazed. It had something to do with the blade in his mouth. He walked over. The remaining bandits, as little as they were, did not dare to move. They were afraid. As Naruto walked forward, Zabuza dropped his blade as Naruto caught it. Zabuza fell as Naruto caught him with one hand, holding him up. Hey kid, can you do me one more favor? Naruto brought him over towards Haku and laid him down gently. Tears were in the man's eyes. I'm sorry, Haku, that I never treated you right, he said, as the tears ran down his face. I'm sorry for not seeing how gentle you were. I'm sorry for not seeing how much you cared, he said, as he felt miserable with himself, looking at Haku's body. And I'm sorry that I won't be able to go where you're going. Naruto turned his head as he saw Haku standing there, watching the whole thing with a smile on his face. He seemed happy. Naruto realized that it was Haku's ghost, his spirit. Zabuza smiled as he said his farewells and died, his heart coming to a stop. The moment it did, a silhouette exited his body. Zabuza-sama, Haku said. Haku? Said Zabuza, as he looked towards him. They were both dead. They were talking, but Naruto was not hearing what they were saying. He could just see them. That is when Naruto heard a yell as he looked up to see in the area and all the people arrive. All the bandits that remain jumped off in fear, jumping towards the boats that were down below as they ran for their life. However, Kakashi noticed Naruto staring out. "Are you alright?" Kakashi asks. However, Naruto was not sure what this was, but this was not a ghost. A creature, clad in all black. It was unlike the others. Whatever this was, it seemed to be humanoid, but it was tall, large. As it was wearing a black hood, there was a strange staff, a sight to be exact, in its arms. As it looked around at all the dead bodies that Zabuza had caused, it pointed its staff towards both Zabuza and Haku. Before the both of them vanished, their bodies just disappearing. Well, their spirits to be exact, their bodies were untouched. Naruto was sure that Kakashi could not see anything. "Naruto, what's wrong?" Kakashi asked. But Naruto's eyes did not leave this monster. This creature, its grip around the sight. All Naruto saw was bones. Was this death? It slammed the hilt of the sight once into the bridge, and all the souls were sucked into it. It then turned and left, floating on the water like it was never there, before it stopped midway and turned towards Naruto. It seemed to finally have noticed him, as it looked at him for a good 10 seconds, before it turned and vanished. "Naruto!" Kakashi's voice finally got through to him. "Calm down!" Naruto looked down towards his hand as he saw he was gripping onto his blade tightly. The bridge under him was cracking. Kakashi saw Naruto looking at him. "Are you alright now?" he said. Yeah, I'm fine," said Naruto. He himself was confused by all of that, as he felt something inside him stir. He was not sure what it was at all, but it was definitely not normal. That is when he heard his name being called as he looked to see Sakura, back on her feet. Sasuke also getting up as well. That brought a smile to his face. At least they were okay. Meanwhile, unknown location. That same man from before that started to watch all of this sat in a chair. As the center screen showed Naruto on the bridge, smiling towards Sakura and Sasuke. "Ah, Naruto Uzumaki," he said, a smile on his face. Always an entertaining show to watch, as he seemed to be enjoying himself. But that was all on the screen. There were countless screens, thousands, millions, billions. That is when he waved his hand. The center screen that Naruto was on rewind to show what happened when Naruto had burst out of the water, what Haku had saw. The man chuckled, unknown, and will be so for some time, he said to himself. The screams show Haku watching as Sakura leaped out of the water. Naruto had seemed to be in a trance, his eyes were glowing golden. Sakura's back was turned, so Haku could not see her face. However, she was clearly on her feet. Until the blue light vanished completely and she fell over, causing Naruto to catch her right in his arms. That is when Naruto blinked, as his eyes seemed to return back to normal, blue. And Sakura was in his arms as she looked up at him, not having any recollection of what just happened. "Naruto, you saved me," she said. The man chuckled once more as he watched her scream. "Well, let's see what will happen next," he said. But guys, be and subscribe right here. If you want something important to do, like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification they posted. But I'm off now, see you guys soon. Peace.